Well, good morning, everybody. Back to the press reports. The next one is Thursday, September the 23rd, 2010 at 2:41. The Associated Press report that a member of the board that monitors fairness in Wisconsin's lawyer regulation system is defending its inaction against the prosecutor who sexted a crime victim. Kenosha lawyer Terry Rose said the Office of Lawyer Regulation should not revisit its decision to clear Calumet County District Attorney Ken Kratz. Rose said Kratz's text messages seeking to kindle an affair with a domestic abuse victim while he was prosecuting her ex-boyfriend were poor judgment, but not an ethics violation. He said that's in part because the woman technically was a witness, not his client. Rose said voters should oust Kratz if they are upset, but regulators shouldn't cave in to a lynch mob mentality. Rose is a member of the Board of Administrative Oversight, which safeguards the integrity of the lawyer regulation system. I must admit, I've never heard of this Terry Rose before, but if he looks into fairness in the Wisconsin lawyer system, why haven't we heard about him looking into the way that Len Kaczynski represented Brendan? Anyway, it's interesting how they try and hide behind what they've done by saying, oh, well, it wasn't strictly speaking this or that. It wasn't really, an ethics violation. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Rose, but you are completely deluded, as we will discover in the not too distant future. Although there are a lot of these press reports to go. I don't think I'm even halfway through them yet. Anyway, here we go with, this is Thursday, September the 23rd at 3:24 p.m. A press release from the Attorney General's office. Attorney General Van Hollen appoints Assistant Attorney General Tom Storm to prosecute removal proceedings against District Attorney Ken Kratz. Now that is interesting, isn't it? That is an Assistant Attorney General called Tom Storm who's going to prosecute Ken Kratz, whereas on the other side you've got Tom Fallon, who is one of Kratz's supporters, buddies, if you like. Anyway, Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen announced today the appointment of Assistant Attorney General Tom Storm to prosecute the removal proceedings against District Attorney Ken Kratz. The appointment was made in response to a request from Robert Jambrough, the commissioner appointed by Governor Doyle. Assistant Attorney General Storm's role will be to gather and present evidence to support Kratz's removal. Assistant Attorney General Tom Storm served as the director of the Medical Fraud Control Unit at the Wisconsin Department of Justice. This unit comprises 3 attorneys, 8 investigators/auditors, and 2 clerical support staff in its responsibility to investigate and prosecute healthcare providers that defraud Wisconsin's $6 billion Medicaid program, as well as abuse and neglect of nursing home residents. Previously, Storm served as the Fond du Lac County District Attorney from 1991 to 2007, where he was responsible for the prosecution of state criminal laws and child protective service matters in a county of 100,000 people. Storm has personally litigated over 150 jury trials to verdict, including 16 homicides. So maybe Ken Kratz isn't the most notable prosecutor in Wisconsin history. Well, his sexting certainly did that for him, didn't it? From 1988 to 91, he also served as the Fond du Lac County Corporation Counsel, where he provided legal counsel and services to county officials and departments, as well as representation of the county in civil litigation. Tom Storm was the assistant legal counsel to Governor Lee Dreyfus in 1982. He received his law degree in 1981 from Valparaiso University School of Law and his Bachelor of Arts in 1978 from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Then we get a quote. Tom Storm is supremely qualified for this role. Through his current position as an elected district attorney, Tom has worked with vulnerable victims and has developed a strong sense of how prosecutors should conduct themselves. He has earned the respect of those who work within the legal system and will ensure that the evidence against Kratz is presented fairly and effectively, said Attorney General Van Hollen. Attorney General Van Hollen's letter appointing Storm to prosecute the removal proceedings is available at. Unfortunately, a lot of time you click on some of these links, strange enough, the documents aren't there anymore. They have disappeared along with presumably Kucharski's aliens. Next, another release from the Attorney General's office. Attorney General Van Hollen seeks information on Kratz misconduct is the headline. Madison. The Wisconsin Department of Justice has been assigned the responsibility of prosecuting the case involving Calumet County District Attorney Kenneth R. Kratz. The allegations under investigation are that Kratz sent inappropriate text messages to crime victims and other persons in the course of his official duties as Calumet County District Attorney. Well, he certainly liked to abuse his power, didn't he? In order to fully investigate the present allegations, or those as yet unknown, the Wisconsin Department of Justice seeks the assistance of any other persons who may have had questionable encounters in the past with Mr. Kratz. Well, we've got at least 15 of them, so you won't have any trouble with them coming forward, as we know. Persons with information relating to any illegal activity, sexual harassment or other professional misconduct by Mr. Kratz are asked to call the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation at telephone number 608-266-1671 and advised that they have information pertaining to this investigation. Individuals are not required to identify themselves and will have the opportunity to discuss the extent to which information they provide may or may not be kept confidential by Department of Justice investigators. Next, Friday, September 24th, 9:05. Again, an update from the Associated Press in Madison. Governor Jim Doyle's office is promising to fill its vacancy on the Wisconsin Crime Victims' Rights Board. The board meets Friday to regroup after a scandal involving its former longtime chairman, Calumet County District Attorney Ken Kratz. Since news broke last week that Kratz sent harassing text messages to a domestic abuse victim, the board has been without leaders, has only 4 or 5 members, and is facing questions over its handling of the case. Well, don't quite get that message. It says the board has been without leaders. It's been certainly without its chairman. Anyway, the board can sanction public officials who mistreat crime victims. Chicken henhouse fox comes to mind. Its members include 2 appointed by the Attorney General and 1 by the District Attorneys Association, which of course is how Kratz gone in there, a crime victims group, and the governor And the governor. The governor's spot has been vacant for more than 2 months, but spokesman Adam Collins says he expects an appointment soon. In actual fact, I don't think they've quite framed that correctly. What they meant to say, that the governor gets to appoint somebody to the Crime Victims' Rights Board, not that the governor is actually a member of that board. Otherwise, if they were without leadership, then that would be truly worrisome, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Now, I do hear that Fen and Julie, I tried to get them over the weekend, but unfortunately they were having their nails manicured and their hair done, so we'll catch them some other time. Managed to catch up with the dude who doesn't take quite so long to do his hair and nails. And also their most recent podcast, their latest one is coming out, I believe, today. It's going to be a 2-part with Mitch of Team Stockdale. And hopefully I'll have a chance to chat with Mitch later on tonight. We're planning on doing a chat. So watch out for that one. And as I say, I don't believe I'm even halfway through these reports, and obviously we went through all the victims, we went through all the those DOJ reports, we went through the messages that Ken Kratz was sending before that. One of the great things is the fact that it's a guilty-free zone. You never, ever, ever have a guilter come on and try and defend Ken Kratz, because he is, in the words of Michael Griesbach, indefensible. Anyway, more thoughts on Kratz, hopefully with Mitch later on, and we'll catch you soon. Bye for now.